Yeah, many thanks, Alison. Thank you for that. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I know a lot of the people on the call or on the webinar, but I'll give you a sort of brief overview of kind of who I am and what we do and who Jigsaw are as well. So I'm Craig Simpson. I'm the managing director of Jigsaw Media in Dundee. We're based in Dundee. Sort of prior to that, I was commercial director at Radio Tay, and then ran Sky TV's operations in Scotland Scotland, north of England, for a number of years, sort of prior to moving to Bauer Media. So Jigsaw is now 5 years old. We are a full service marketing agency. So we look after everything from branding, design, web development design, and our real core business is developing and implementing marketing strategies, effective marketing strategies for businesses. And we work with, as you'll see through this, sort of through the next 10, 15 minutes, a huge variety of different businesses in different industries. So yeah, I hope everyone is sort of keeping busy and is keeping well in a very, very strange time. And my job tonight really is to talk about communicating effectively during this pandemic, during the lockdown. Certainly seeing a lot of businesses who obviously it's had a huge impact on a variety, in every business really, but in a variety of different ways. And whether you are fully closed or partly closed or whatever impact it's had, it's really important that you continue to communicate and engage with your client base and your potential customers. And I say that's what I want to talk to you about this evening. So a few things that I want to cover off. Should we still be speaking to our audience when our business is closed? And if the answer to that is yes, then what should we say? What should our tone be? What's relevant? And how do I engage? And to start us off, I'm going to talk through just a few different examples that we've done with our clients. And as I said, we've got a real variety of real diverse client base in Jigsaw. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to show an example of a campaign that was due to launch. Actually, we were due to launch Free Period Angus, which is funded by Scottish Government, and this was it's an initiative to really improve significantly the levels of period poverty that there are in Angus. It's actually across Scotland, but we're working with Angus Council on this, and we were to launch this really what ended up being the start of the lockdown. So this is really about pivoting your marketing strategy and being able to change quickly, which has been incredibly important at this time. So as much as we were due to launch, we had to change direction. The team at Angus Council have been working really, really hard at developing a number of different locations. So nearly 200 locations where individuals could pick up free sanitary products. Obviously, that had to change, from lockdown. So we changed the plan very, very quickly, and we were able to deliver product to doors. And so changing the campaign very, very quickly and significantly to what you see in front of you now. So there's 3 months worth of product pushed out through Facebook and Instagram to a target audience. And it's been incredibly successful with nearly 400 packs delivered out to doors in the last couple of weeks. I'm going to talk a lot about sort of building trust and really community-led. That's CSR. So if you don't know what CSR means, we talk about it a lot in marketing, and that's your corporate social responsibility angle. So whether that's a charity that you have as a nominated charity for the year, whether it's community clubs that you support, whether you sponsor local football teams, local events, that type of idea, and that really builds that kind of localized trust. And one of our clients had a fantastic idea within hospitality. They were boarding up their windows. Again, you can see the example in front of you here, which so the market in Dundee, very prominent position. So instead of just boarding up the windows, wanted to put a thank you to the NHS on there. So a lovely gesture, but from a marketing perspective, also nice to tell that story. And you can see by the level of engagement on that post down at the bottom there, so organically it's reached 10,500 people and had over 1,700 engagements on that post alone. You can, so that's a really nice type of post to be putting out into the marketplace right now. And the market are a good example of some in hospitality where doors are closed, but we're continuing to engage. We've got a fairly significant a significant social media audience. So we're continuing to engage on them, not as much as we had previously. So not, you know, posts going out every single day, but good fun activity, some memes, relevant activity, and things like this that are continuing to engage their audience. You know, even ourselves at Jigsaw, you know, we've looked at our own, you know, our own plan. And again, you know, much more sort of community-led. We've done a lot of work, you know, in the community in the last few weeks. We've supported, so Alexander's here as one of the posts that we put up. They're very much a community-led organisation. We've been, you know, proud to have done their branding for them and building their website. And it was right for us to tell that story that we're doing that. I mean, we also supported the Broughty Ferry Food Bank free of charge to create their page and launch their social channels and their fundraising efforts. So again, it was right for us to push that out. So as I go into a few different examples, really the point I'm trying to make is here, absolutely it's right to continue to engage with your audience, continue to speak to them, but finding the right tone and finding the right things to speak to them about is just as important. Three more examples. There's a real opportunity here. For number one here is a vlog, and it's been a client that dealt with for a long time and really been trying to twist Jonathan's arm over the last you know, the last year or so to really tell his story more effectively in vlogs and get his passion and enthusiasm across for his products, which is wealth management. And the time right now is incredibly relevant because the markets have nosedived and there's lots of people out there nervous about their own investments. And it was right for Jonathan to be able to try and put those people at ease with a really balanced approach to that. So we're now working on a vlog plan, and we're now, you know, on his second vlog. Third one will go out next week. So there's a real weekly clear plan here and structure to what he's going to be speaking about on a weekly basis. And again, as I say, it's relevant, it adds value. And I've got a young lad knocking at the window here while I'm doing this. The joys of working from home. So yeah, so you lost my train of thought a little bit for a second there, but yeah, again, it's all about relevance. It's adding value to his marketplace. It's building up that trust and credibility in this really challenging time. We talked a little bit there about planning. I think it's worthwhile to touch on that again. If you are going to, you know, create vlogs and what, you have to make sure you have a plan and a structure to what you're going to do, rather than just making them ad hoc just when you can be bothered. And there's a real opportunity right now. You know, we're not running about 100 miles an hour, struggling to catch our breath. And two, in our businesses, there's a real opportunity for us to be strategic about our businesses, really to plan much more effectively. So yeah, absolutely take the opportunity to do that. And again, we talk about vlogs. Too many people I speak to and have to work with them really a lot, you know, on this, is that they don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfectly produced. People want to see real. You know, they want to see you. They want to see your personality. And if you've got a real passion about something, you know, then make sure that comes across. You know, social media and vlogs are a real opportunity for you to get your personality, the personality of your business across. Make sure you do that, and it doesn't look too scripted and staid. Last couple of things. Yeah, a real challenge for us is golf tourism. You know, so Carnoustie Country is Angus Council's golf destination brand, and real challenge for that industry, as you can imagine right now. Obviously, no golf, no travel, and so on. And a challenge for us in terms of creating content, because, you know, a lot of the time, you know, we're out in the course getting images, doing video work and so on. So again, change of direction of their content plan was then to go and create the ultimate course, the Carnoustie Country Ultimate Course. So really asking for engagement from their audience. What do you think is the best opening hole in Carnoustie Country? What do you think is the best second hole in Carnoustie Country? And then creating that, and the engagement levels and the debate and conversation that we're driving on that page, and a real growth in organic reach has been terrific, actually. So it just goes to show that a great idea can come out of a challenging time, because we wouldn't have done this. We probably wouldn't have come up with that idea if it hadn't been for the time that we find ourselves in. And then lastly, using it as a platform, using your social channels as a platform, just to keep your audience up to date with what's happening. And this is ATL, so an engineering firm, and it was really important for them just to make sure their clients your potential customer base was kept up to date. So again, a lot of what we've done across things like engineering firms, we've got a few clients in that space, is very much using as a platform to keep people updated. But yeah, lastly, you just make sure that you continue to engage, but make sure you have a plan when you're doing that. So yeah, a few sort of key takeaways from that. Absolutely, still be there. Still be there. As I've said, try and have a consistency. You have an opportunity right now. You've got breathing space to plan, review your business, review your marketing, be able to plan, schedule, strategize. So make sure you have a consistency, but you're adding value. What I don't want to ever like to see, and I see this a lot, is what I call content for content's sake, and that is just. And I'm sure you've probably all done this at some point, but I need to put something out. I need to put something out. Let's put something out. And there's not really an objective behind what you've put out into the marketplace. So whether it's a £10 million TV campaign or it's one piece of content going on Facebook, have an objective behind why. What am I trying to do? Am I trying to drive traffic to my website? Am I trying to sell a product? Am I trying to build engagement? Am I trying to grow my audience? What are you trying to do with that particular post? So make sure you have a plan. Review your communication strategy. So what it was 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, it obviously has to change because your business has changed just now, and your business may well change completely going forward. So you have to review and be able to change your strategy and evolve that strategy. Add value and engage. So as I said about having objectives, make sure you are, adding value and engaging with your audience. There's so much content on social channels right now, but you have an opportunity because more people are on there. They're spending more time on there. So make sure you get that opportunity to be in front of them. And to do that, you need to make sure you're adding value to that individual and you're asking for engagement. Build trust. Again, as we talked about, there's that real opportunity to get your voice across there as that real sort of industry leading voice, be the go-to person. So build that level of trust. There's a real opportunity for that CSR, so that corporate social responsibility. So look at what can you do in the community, what message, what can you support? Can you support the NHS? Can you support anything else in the community that really will help build trust and credibility and so on within your organisation, within the consumer base? There's a lot of bigger businesses that we've seen over the last few weeks who, in my view, certainly were putting profits before people. There are quite a few national companies, and less so. Some local ones as well, but it's the national ones that certainly spring to mind for me. And I think, in terms of their sort of brand and the negative impact on brand for them once we get through this, I think will be quite significant. They certainly look like they were trying to make a quick buck by remaining open when others in the same space were closing, when they've been advised to close. And I think particularly at this time, consumers will remember that, but they will also remember the businesses who have absolutely done the right thing. And then not to to continue to keep going on about this, but as I've said, there's a real opportunity right now. We all do run about 100 miles an hour. We're all generally business owners or senior in a business where it's very easy to get caught up in your business. So, and the day-to-day flies by so quickly that you don't necessarily get the opportunity to get your head up, look ahead, strategize, and plan for the future. And this is an opportunity that we will never get again. I don't think we'll get. I like to think we won't get it again to actually go and do that. So hopefully there's a few points to take away. I think we'll take some questions at the end, but in the meantime, I'll pop you back to Alison, who I think will then hand you on to Cara. Thank you.
The sort of mantra behind it was to do with the buying decision. So customers, how they make their buying decision. So back in 2015-16, that figure was 70%. Now, the reason I'm putting this back on here is just to double check the chat, but basically 70% of the buying decision is made online before a customer will make contact with the business. Now, since we're in the COVID era, I I can't think of anything other than that number increasing right now. So customers that typically buy your product or service from your industry, they have an abundance of time online. And more so, and they have no way of contacting necessarily face to face. So the buying decision is being made online every single day. And we are in the research obsessed era of purchasing, where people will research their product or service to a massive detailed scale and become experts before they make that buying decision. So what you need to be doing is answering the questions that relate specifically to your product or service. And this is something that you can definitely do right now. So this is what stands us in good stead at Gillies and Mackay. We have an abundance of content for our customers in the forms of videos and blogs, which are all SEO related and searchable in Google, bringing us to the forefront when they ask the question, what kind of base do I need for a shed? So the other thing that we do is assignment selling, which is specifically to do with giving your customer a task in order to make it through the buyer's journey. So the task that we give our customers is the buyer's prep and aftercare guide. So this is the most important guide you need to make sure that your Gillies Mackay will last a lifetime. And it helps the customer make the decisions for themselves by giving them exactly the information they need to understand what elements come into play when you're wanting to buy a timber building. Things like planning, site prep, what a level site means, what treatment means, what the order process is. It's all there for them to study and research for themselves as they go through the buying decision. So this is something that you could definitely be easily working on for your business, for your product or service. Assignment selling is a fantastic thing, and it works excellent for us. There's so many different things that I could talk about when it comes to TIA marketing, but I'm going to stop on the buyer's prep at the moment and tell you that the way I get this information and how I studied it is a book called They Ask You Answer. So this is, I recommend. Marcus Sheridan is the author, and his story is about a pool company who started up in the financial crisis, which is quite similar to the times that we're facing just now, where he answered every single question that customers had about swimming pools. And then that led to the growth and success of his business. And that's what I'm trying to do with Gillies and Mackay. Now, when it comes to communicating with our customers, we're very friendly, and I suppose it's quite convenient because the product that we have is to do with a very emotional attachment to a human's existence, and it's called shed life. And when you are a sheddy, you are very passionate and sort of consumed by the shed life culture, and it means a lot to you. And we get proper involved with people's shed life, and we call it a belief in sheds. Shedonism is another terminology that we use. So what we've been doing recently, just whilst we've been closed, so the guys aren't delivering or assembling any buildings, so we've not really got that to show our customers. So what we've been doing instead is speaking to our previous customers who are always massive raving fans and able to share their sort of stories of their buildings. So this one in particular that was shared just yesterday is about twin girls who are into their 20s now, and they've long outgrown their playhouse that they got over 20 years ago, and the parents have shared the fact that the playhouse is well within use as it is today as a storage shed where the dog guards its food that's stored in there. So yeah, so there's just some really lovely stories. Ones where like people are renovating their Gillies Mackays into school classrooms for their kids. kids, where they're using them as a place to escape. And there's just so much fun to be had, and varied sort of elements to sort of the practicalities of shed life, that it's just interesting stories, and every company has them. So it's just being able to tap in to your previous customers, your case studies, your what made the difference, what made the change, where the emotions are, and really connecting with your audience when realistically there's not a lot of anything going on. So people are looking for interesting stories, and something to engage with, which is fantastic. The other thing, obviously, is that because we have a product that we have been selling for over 30 years, we have lots of customers, lots of varying different levels of maintenance is required for the buildings throughout their longevity. So customers are stuck at home and out in their gardens and wanting to do stuff to their Gillies and Mackays, to spruce it up, paint it, repair it, whatever. So there's lots of blogs on aftercare that we're sharing at the moment with our previous customers to help them look after their buildings, when normally what would happen is that they could get a call out service from ourselves. So we've been basically teaching them how to adjust their doors and how to do repairs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been very interesting in terms of how COVID has impacted our traditional form of business. We have manufacturing, we sell and we assemble. So there's 3 different departments going on there. All our operations have stopped, and the only thing that's actually working at the moment is our sales and marketing. So I've pushed on ahead with the website redesign. I pay for our digital marketing to be done, and our brand consultation to be done as well. So these are things that are ongoing, and they are the only outgoings for Gillies and Mackay at the moment whilst we're dealing with COVID. And the reason for that is because it's absolutely paramount to the success of my business that the marketing continues on. The communication with customers is clear, transparent and honest at all times, and that customers are still able to buy from us when we are not physically open. So, and we know that when we come out the other end of this, that we will be the ones that benefit from continuing on with communication, with making and finding a way for customers to be able to buy from us without seeing the buildings for themselves in real life. And it's working. As I would expect. It is working, and customers are still buying from us, still paying us deposits, and things are ticking over nicely. So it's working out great for us in terms of the sales. As far as the decision making and the communication over COVID, it was, as I can imagine, for everybody, very daunting, scary and upsetting to know what to say and what to predict and how to make decisions. But what we tried to do was keep it as clear and concise as possible for the customer, and just kept updating a statement about our decisions and how we were going to run our business. So at the moment on our homepage is basically the delivery and assembly service, what we've got going on at the moment. We've actually decided that we're going to start production from the 1st of June. We are possibly in the exempt category if we want to be, and it'll be up to the employees if they want to come back. But we're planning for a 1st of June back working again, and then customers know when they can contact us and they know where the updates are. So it's all just there, ready for them as and when they need it. And that's just how we've been going. Been doing Facebook Lives and trying to keep them updated that way, and always on all the social media platforms that we use day in, day out. So that's what we've been doing. And what I'm really sort of interested to know is how any of that can help you, and if there's anything that I'm not appreciating or missing when it comes to the challenges that you're facing, then please let me know, and hopefully I'll be able to share something that's relative to my experience, to your experience. And that's me. Okay.
Fab. Thank you.
No worries.
Great. So we've definitely got some questions bubbling away in the chat. So I think Donna, one of my colleagues, is going to come on and just run through some of that for us. Donna, are you coming on?
Sure, yeah. The first question we've got is from Mo from the Wellgate. I don't know if Mo's there and she's happy to tell us what her question is. Could you unmute yourself? Hello. Okay, I don't think she can, but oh. Hi Mo, are you there?
Donna, hi, it's Craig.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Donna. Yeah, I see Mo's question there.
Okay.
So happy to respond to that. So it's, we're still open with 5 retailers trading, and we want to advertise we're open, but not encourage people to come to the mall, except to shop and leave straight after shopping, which is totally opposite to our usual marketing. Any suggestions? I think you have to. I think you just have to do it open and honestly, and talk about following government guidelines, and ask for people to follow them and to be sensible. But I think you have to tell a story that they are open. I think that's right. But again, I think you have to say that you are following guidelines and showing that you're doing absolutely the right thing by those guidelines. I think any company that is doing the opposite of that will come out of this pandemic with real sort of negative sort of PR. And so yeah, it's easy enough to tell the story that Mo wants to tell, that you are open, but make sure you're making it very, very clear that you're following government guidelines.
Great, thank you. I've got another question here from Elaine Fleming. Elaine, are you happy to unmic, or do you want me to unmute? Do you want me to speak?
Hi there. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, I have unmuted. Thanks. I may have to mute again though, as there's a 2-year-old on my shoulder. Yeah. So my question really was, so I work in PR and public relations, so come from a marketing background as well, and so I would be interested to take anybody's view, in fact, on. So I've lived through a couple of recessions within the world, and have been made redundant previously in 2009. Obviously, marketing spend is one of the first things to go, because people just want to batten down the hatches and hold on to any spend that they can. So I appreciate that you should not be cutting your marketing spend. Totally agree with Cara there. If you were to advise clients on one thing to keep spending on, though, in the whole of the marketing realm, what would that be?
So it's a great question, and absolutely, I think the point that you've made, that one of the first things that get cut is marketing budget. Absolutely, and is it a concern for us as we come through this? Yeah, absolutely is. And one of the things I always say to clients is that marketing is an investment and not a cost. I think the question that you ask, for me, there's not a right answer to that. It depends on that client, it depends on that business and their audience and who their customers are. Because what's cost effective for them in terms of marketing might be completely different to another business who's got a completely different customer base. For me, though, the most cost, and I say this all the time, is the most cost effective and targeted form of advertising now is social media. It's getting more and more challenging to get the best bang for buck in that, but still, amongst all of the different and varying channels that are available, using social properly for both organic and tactical paid activity is absolutely a must for any business, depending, it just depends on picking the right channels for your audience, channel or channels for your audience. That's what I see a lot of, as businesses trying to spread themselves too thinly across multiple channels that maybe necessarily aren't relevant for their target audience. But I think going back to the last real kind of recession in 2008, so marketing has moved on significantly in those last 12 years. So if there was one, I'd say absolutely get your social strategy right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We also have another question from Peter BT. Are you happy to speak, Peter?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Good. I'm not showing you what I look like. I've just been painting the roof of a shed. I'll absolutely mock it. Not a Gillies and Mackay one, unfortunately. But, no, just ask you. You're a good, confident speaker, Cara. I just wonder if you're contacting key clients at the moment by phone or Zoom or any other media. Is it all done through the kind of social media that you highlighted brilliantly in your talk?
Right, okay, so basically when it comes to the sales, I've got a sales and marketing manager, and when it comes to purchases that are over £10,000, I do consultation, and yes, that's exactly how it's going, and that's actually what is being integrated into the new web design, is being able to book a consultation video call with myself, and that's something that we had already discussed well before COVID, because what was happening was that when customers come on foot to Gillies and Mackay, the time is limitless, and it can just run away with itself, and with my priorities it was conflicting, so I did want to start creating a booking system anyway. So yeah, so that's how my customers are sort of getting to the bigger sales at the moment, is through a video call. But to be fair, Peter, some of my best purchases have been done entirely through assignment selling, where the customer literally emails in with every answer I could possibly imagine to the questions I need to ask to make an order for them, and then ask me at the end of the email, is there anything I can help you with? So the focus is very much on assignment selling for me. All the questions are dealt with well before they even come to me, so pre-educating them basically.
Good, thank you very much.
I don't have any more questions, Alison, but I think you had a couple for our speakers.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. I mean, I think both of you talked about videos and vlogs and other things. So do you get expert help when you record those? How professionals got to be? Do you just jump in? What's the sort of advice for people?
Cara, do you want me to kick off with that?
Yeah, on you go, Craig. Yep.
So normally, we'd have probably a bit more of a hands-on approach with our clients, Alison. Obviously, right now, we can't do that. So we've been nudging clients into doing some of this. Some are a little bit more confident than others. When it comes to how, I suppose, they present themselves, I think people want everything to be really, certainly clients we've dealt with, I think most people we need to be perfect. It needs to look really slick. And to a point, yes, but it's a great opportunity to get your personality across, your brand's personality. So there's no harm in showing that. There's nothing worse if it looks too scripted and it looks too staged. I'd much rather it came across really, really natural. I had one client who sent me across his first kind of example last week, and I sent him back a video of the Reverend I.M. Jolly and said, is this what you've been basing it on? Fortunately, he's got a good sense of humour, so I was able to do that, and he's a good friend. But he needed to lighten up and get a bit more personality across and so on. And that's what I'd like. That's what I want to see. I want to see that passion and enthusiasm coming across in vlogs. In terms of sort of the production quality of it, a good old iPhone. If you can buy yourself a nice wee tripod that I have handily placed here. Here's what I made earlier. that's more than enough. And there's lots of good video apps out there right now that can help you tidy up the production quality. You know, at Jigsaw, we use kind of high-end Adobe After Effects and so on. But actually, you know, an Apple's got some really low-level product that does just as good a job for something like a vlog. If you wanted to just put kind of place cards at the start and the end, or brand it up, there's lots of good cheap video platforms out there right now. So this is an opportunity, actually. You know, when you're not, let's say, running about daft, think, well, I'm going to do a vlog and I'm going to go and check out what software there is out there and what apps are out there to make me go and create something, and have a look at what other people are doing as well, and go, I like that style, don't like that style so much. I'm going to do this and do it that way, and have a play about with it, and practice and get more comfortable as you do it.
Cara, what's your thoughts?
So I, just as Craig says, I use my iPhone and a tripod and a lapel mic, and I've recorded over 150 videos that are all edited by a videographer called Rad, and he was, back in the day, was charging me something like 75 quid for 3 videos to be edited, which is fantastic, but only because of the way in which I record them, which is I do question, story, result, challenge, and that's my format for the video. So I start with a question: what kind of base do you need for a shed? I then tell a story about why base work's important, and then I say what results you should expect, and then I give the customer a challenge. So this is now your action, your call to action: go and get your base sorted, type of thing. So that's the structure in which I do every single video too. I try and keep it short and sweet and straight to the point, without any fluff, and that's how I just get it done. And it's something that you've just got to embrace the messy, and don't try and be perfect, because it's never going to be the way you want it, and nobody cares what you look like if you've got a squint nose or your voice is squeaky. Like, they just want the answer to their question, so just get on with it, and it's absolutely fine. And once you get over yourself, it just makes it a lot easier. And I'm saying that from experience, when it took me 200 takes for my first ever video over the course of 3 days, and then I got to the point where I was recording 47 videos in 90 minutes or something ridiculous like that. So it is 100% the thing that you need to be doing if you want to learn anything whilst we're in lockdown. Go and practice video. 80% of the content online consumed today is video, and it's where the market is going. So please, please, please just give it a try. YouTube is your friend. Facebook Live is your friend. Just get on it and see how you get on. Don't worry, just try it.
Cara, did you have a sort of a plan for your videos? So did you say, right, okay, so 3 times a week, and I know, like, for the next 6 weeks what all the questions are going to be?
I love a list. I live for lists. Yeah, so all my videos are based around big topics, which is called the big 5. So we're talking price, comparison, reviews, best, and problems. So these are the topics that I talk about specifically. So anything that's relating to how much does something cost, or the problems surrounding the customers making a buying decision. So specifically, like, oh, I've got to make a base, that's a barrier to making a purchase, you know, stuff like that. Understanding what the difference is between different types of timber, different types of specification, different roof coverings, different ironmongery. Just like, there's so many questions that we get asked every day, and that's the topics that I arrange them around, because they're the searchable topics on Google, and they're the ones that mean that I will be number 1 on Google when you type in, should I insulate my summer house? So stuff like that is really important. You need a plan, in a sense that you've got to have enough topics to pick from on the day, because honestly, when you get there and you're like, I don't really want to talk about that today, do your planning first, so at least you've got some choice in topics and what you're going to cover on your video, because you need to bring the energy. You've got to imagine, like, if you're standing in front of someone and having a conversation with them, then it's really easy to grasp their vibe and, you know, get a sense of how they themselves are feeling. Whereas if you're behind a screen, it's so much harder. So you have to like be full of energy and ready for it, in the sense that nobody wants to see a face that's boring as hell and doesn't, you know, no emotion to it. They want you to be exciting. So you've got to be able to bring it and be excited about what you're talking about. So having a plan makes sure that that happens. Okay, and that the bit about findability and being sort of Google ranked is interesting, because that was my next question. Are you both seeing much change in online reach? Is all the business content getting squashed by COVID and public health messaging? I'm exactly the opposite, because of the type of business that we have, and as I said before about customers being so focused on their research because they can't do anything other than check online, that our organic growth for our Gillies and Mackay website is 90%, which is astronomical. So, and the traffic is risen by 42% in the past 3 weeks, which actually is not so, like, it's this time of year, like, you know, it's springtime, but that in comparison to last year is ridiculous. So so no, I don't feel like our information's getting squashed. And also people switch off from that quite quickly. I mean, you can see how fed up if you've got teenage kids, like they're done, they're over COVID, like they're just wanting out. And everybody just, your brain can only consume so much of that noise before it becomes just that and you switch off to it. So yeah, it's definitely not something that I would be looking at as a threat to my content.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. You know, we across, even taking our social platforms as as an example, and talking about organic reach, across really all our client base, we're seeing growth, and it's purely because we're spending more time on social media right now. And yes, there's lots in there about what's going on in the world, but you know, people are spending more time on it, engaging more, looking for valuable content. So yeah, we're seeing really good levels of reach, of engagement, pretty much to a client. You know, and even, you know, in the hospitality clients where their doors are closed right now, people are still want to engage with that. They still want that sense of normality and the sort of the hope that normality is not too far away. So yeah, no, it's actually been, from that side of things, it's been pretty positive. And as an example, we look after a couple of public sectors, as our local authority for fostering and adoption. And we've seen increases in inquiries there because actually it's decisions that get made at times when families are spending more time together and got more time to discuss things like that, more time to research. So with less spend, we're seeing higher levels of inquiries. That cost per inquiry is coming down. So, you know, there's some real interesting numbers to be had.
Fab. Well, I think that was kind of the key questions I had. Any more from the audience before we kind of finish up?
There's nothing new on the chat line, so nothing here.
Okay. Well, even if there is anything, we could definitely connect you with both the speakers. So massive thank you to Cara and to Craig for speaking for us. It was a really, really insightful and interesting topic. It is one of those things, isn't it, that you know, marketing and marketing people tend to disappear at times of crisis, and it's absolutely the wrong thing to do. You've got to keep investing in it and keep talking to your customers and your prospects while all your competitors are all sleeping. So yeah, thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate it. And thanks to everybody for joining in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we'll catch up with you at another one. So thanks again. Thanks so much to Sarah and Donna for keeping us organised, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks very much, folks. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.